Hi there. I have read your portfolio submissions as well as your practicum logs that you've submitted and given you feedback in the associated rubrics. Your practicum logs are going to have the majority of your feedback is going to be in Typhon. So be sure that you go into Typhon and read that feedback. At this point, you guys are pros at writing your practicum logs. I really enjoy seeing you or seeing through your writing what you're doing in the practicum setting. You guys are doing some exciting things. I want to remind you that at this point in your practicum setting, you should be doing more than observation. You should be getting your hands dirty. If you're in a hospital setting, you should be working directly with your preceptor to help teach tasks or skills or something in the hospital setting. And in the academic setting, you should be helping to teach courses, teach lectures, supporting the simulation. You should never be working alone. This is a precepted environment, so you should always be with your preceptor, but you should have some autonomy in practicing the skills and the role of the nurse educator. This is not, at this point, you should not just be observational. So make sure that you're getting as involved as you can based on the setting that you're in and document that. It's also important to remember to include how your preceptor is influencing your practice. It's great that for those of you that are autonomous and doing some things with the supervision of your preceptor, but don't forget to mention that they're there. Otherwise, I worry that you're off all by yourself, which would not be good. Your portfolios are lovely. You guys have really picked up on the technology. Personalize the portfolios to make them yours. Everyone was given feedback. Note that if you lost points for something, that's feedback that you need to fix. If you didn't lose points and I just made a comment and said, have you thought about doing this? That's optional. It's just a suggestion. So make sure that you're going in there. Know that this is an ongoing process. Each time you get feedback, you're going to go back in and tweak and polish and then get ready for the third part, just like you did with part one. So read the feedback, make those adjustments and changes, and then move forward for part three. But do make those changes before you start part three. I think you guys are doing a great job. Okay, let's talk briefly about the matrix next week. The matrix is going to be where you put the results of your integrative literature review search. So in part one, you had your blueprint and you said, this is what I'm going to do. These are the sources the databases I'm going to look in. These are my keywords I'm going to use. These are my search filters I'm going to apply. And voila, here are the articles. You're going to sift through them and select 20 to 25 articles that you feel like have the likelihood of being relevant. And then you're going to put those in your matrix, and I would put in your first column of your references. In your reference, put your reference in the first column of the matrix. You can tell it's been a long day. Okay, so after you've done that and you've kind of committed to 20 to 25 articles, then read them for the abstracts. Begin to digest the material. You're going to find pretty quickly, once you get into fully reading them, you're going to read all the articles, and then you're going to select those that are going to be included and excluded. For all the articles, all 20 to 25, you're going to fill in every column or cell in your Excel spreadsheet for related to the articles you're going to read. So how you organize them is up to you. I personally organize mine thematically. Some people like to organize them by reference of date of publication. Some people like to organize them alphabetically. I don't care how you do it. This is kind of a personal choice. What isn't a personal choice is filling in all the cells. Make sure that you have adequate detail to reference the scope of the article. Don't feel like you need to write a book. Be clear. A couple of sentences need to be included, but again, don't wear yourself out on this. The idea is to let me look at your matrix and be able to look at a general overview of 20 to 25 articles with enough detail that I can determine that you have picked the correct 15 articles to include in your integrative literature review. But this piece of it is kind of that organization of what you found. So once you used all your search filters, used all the databases and found the articles, sifted through the abstracts and pulled 20 to 25 articles that you feel like are highly likely to be relevant, then you're going to put them on your matrix. If you go through your matrix and you find that 17 of them work really well, that's great. You don't have to whittle it down to 15, but you have to have 15. So let's say you get through your in-depth analysis, you fill it in your matrix, and you realize that of your 20 articles, only 12 of them work because you made mistakes. You didn't really read the abstract as well as you should have. You realized after you gathered it that it was a systematic review, and that's not going to be acceptable for this type of integrative literature review. You've got to go back into the literature. Go back into the original search that you filtered through all those abstracts and go back in, refine those articles, and find a few more to see if you can flesh out what you're looking for. Folks, this is not an exhaustive literature review. This is just a baby step. If you were going to do an exhaustive literature review, this would be so much more time consuming and so much more complex and involve so many more databases. I just want you to understand the process and the value of organizing your articles so that as you move through the writing process in part 3, all your material is going to be well organized and the matrix is going to support your writing process. Follow the steps, ask questions if you have them. Use the Ask the Professor link for general questions. And before you send me an email, go on the Ask the Professor link and make sure somebody hasn't already asked the question. The matrix sometimes just generates questions. Know that I'm happy to answer them and walk you through the process, but you need to reach out and let me know if you have questions. If I don't hear anything, I'm going to assume you're good. Okay, I think that is all I have for this week. I hope you guys are recovering from a busy Thanksgiving break. It has been my experience that whenever I take a couple of days off to really unplug and focus on family or focus on things that I need to take care of personally, that as soon as I plug back in, I feel like I'm being punished. There's always a million things that didn't get done on the day or two that I wasn't completely dialed in. So I hope if that has been your experience in the beginning part of this week, that you are catching your breath and that you are digging through your email boxes and all the other things that keep us busy. Know that I'm here. You guys are so very close. Hang in there. Be in touch. Have a great week.